What is up, entrepreneurs? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why I think the Sony ZV-1 is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the video content creation field for cameras and for entrepreneurs. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, entrepreneurs? Welcome back to Entre Woman TV, helping you simplify the video creation process so that you can reach wider and connect deeper with the people that need you the most. And I believe video is the best way to do that. And so I do video tech as well as video marketing tips here on the channel. So if that's something that you're into, definitely consider subscribing. But let's talk about the ZV-1. So a little bit ago, Sony made the announcement that the Sony ZV-1, a new point and shoot camera focused for video, and they're kind of, pushing it out as a vlogging camera, but I think it's so much more than that based off of the footage that I've seen. Unfortunately, I don't have one in the hand. I don't even know if I will probably get a chance to try one at some point, but these are just my assumptions being a video person, having tried and worked with a lot of different cameras, and just really why I think this is going to be a home run for its intended market. Now, a lot of brands and cameras tend to give you this, take this away, you can get this, but not that. And Sony really isn't one of those brands and haven't been over the last couple years. Yeah, there's always something that we wish we had more of in a camera or changes that we wanted, but they're the brand, or one of the brands, them like Fuji, even Olympus is stepping up to the plate, and even Nikon sometimes here or there are making cameras for their audience. And most entrepreneurs now are needing to make video content in some form or fashion. Camera prices continue to hike up as more people are needing to buy this equipment, and Sony is just kind of sliding in with the do everything kind of a camera. Don't worry about buying lenses. And I want to go through 5 things that I'm loving about the ZV-1. So the first thing is, of course, my #1 feature for any camera moving forward: unlimited video recording. You literally could take this camera, vlog with it, share your experience of building your business, building your brand, something you could literally use for talking head videos. It would be perfectly fine. And you could get an angle just like this, a blurry background similar to this, all of that in the camera, and you don't need to buy multiple lenses and all of that. Even when you control it with the app, you could zoom in a little bit here or there if you wanted to. It's cameras that cost about the same that can't do unlimited recording, and it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal, at least for me. The second thing is the product showcase mode is very interesting to me. This is a feature nobody asked for, but through proper market research and actual care about your people and the people that you're trying to serve, created something. How many of us is saying hey, today I'm going to be reviewing my new phone case, and we got to block our face. And if you're using any kind of log footage like I am, sometimes it moves a little bit slower, and you're trying to not be at the minimum focusing distance of the camera. Block your face, show it, and then bring it back down, because on the product showcase, you can just literally put it up here, it zips to it, and then you put it back down, it zips back to your face. The product showcase mode is something that's just kind of really cool that they would put something like that, because literally no other camera or nobody has anything like that at all. Third thing why this camera is going to be the bomb.com: mic input. Point and shoot cameras do not have microphone inputs. Yes, Canon made the G7X Mark III with one, and yes, Sony made their RX100 Mark VII. After several iterations of the camera, finally put a headphone jack in it, but it's other things that kind of still let you know these were more for photography and not for video. Not just the input, but the hot shoe mount at the top, so that you can put the Rode Wireless Go on there, create regular videos without it just having to be the audio at the top of the camera and you're just picking up whatever. And even with that iteration for the microphone input, they created a dedicated huge microphone and a built-in wind muff. All of that is something that speaks to what does the audience want? Who are you creating this camera for, and what have they been asking for? What's problems for them, and solving that problem. The fourth thing of why this camera is freaking amazing is it has a lot going for it, but you have the power zoom lens, which surprisingly is sometimes much nicer than to be swapping lenses constantly, because every lens has its own weight. You're constantly worried about, did I get dust or lint or whatever on the sensor? And it's just a bigger package. Honestly, when it comes to like vlogging and stuff, even when I'm traveling, I like to use smaller cameras, and not just smaller cameras, because the A6600, 6400, and 50, those are already relatively small cameras. Once you start building it up, it gets a little bit bigger and obvious. So if you would use something like a GoPro or an Osmo Pocket or your phone for vlogging, this gives you so much more in that power zoom lens. It's sharp. It has a decent angle, which is that 24 millimeter range for videos, which is what you're seeing right now. But at the same time, you have the ability to zoom. So it's not just great for talking head, again, with the microphone input as well, but it's also good in low light. You're looking at a lens that has a lower aperture on the wide end, so you can get a blurry background. Didn't even mention it, but it has a little button feature and all kinds of stuff where you can just instantly blur the background. So maybe you don't know all the science and technical aspects of blurring the background, but you can press a button and literally have the background get a little bit blurrier than it was before. The fifth and final thing, charging via USB. Again, this is just one of those things like unlimited recording that I have come to absolutely freaking love, for the fact that it should already always be there. This should never be something that we have to ask for. It should always be there with the ability to charge. If I can charge my phone, and I'm going to have to carry a battery bank for it anyway, I just want to be able to charge off my freaking camera as well. Especially like so here's how this realistic application happens. Because most people talk about, oh, the battery life. Battery life is not a problem and is not a big deal at all. If you have a camera like the A6400 or something like the ZV-1 that maybe you can run for like an hour and a half before you need to swap batteries or something. But I'm never using, as much as like I do videos, as much as I've done vlogs, even if they never made it to the channel, on the actual like cameras, like my Osmo Pocket, I can't swap the battery, but I can charge it. So as I'm vlogging through the airport, for example, I can capture the footage and get everything that I want. And then I'm eventually going to put it away. Maybe I'm getting coffee, maybe I'm boarding, going through something, like I'm getting ready to eat, and I'm probably going to have 30, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, or I'm sleeping on the plane. I'm not vlogging. So the battery shouldn't just be sitting there. I can just top it off. By the time I'm getting ready to get off the plane and I want to start recording again, the battery's back to, it went from like 56 to 98% or almost to 100% even, depending on how fast it can charge. But for the most part, even just like traveling, when I've done other outdoor vlogs, that ride in the car, it's charging. And if I need to swap batteries, I have one other battery that I use on a little USB K-Star battery bank charger. I've had one for the M50, A6400, all my cameras. It makes sense to have one of those. So if for whatever reason I do deplete it, I could just swap it and put that one on the USB charge for the battery bank, and I'm good to go. I don't ever need more than 2 cameras. So like battery life is not a problem when you have USB charging. It just is smart to have in any camera. So I think the Sony ZV-1 is going to be a content creator's dream. And even if it's not your main camera, it could be. That's the thing. It could be. It's good enough that it could be. You want to stream with it? Great. You get clean HDMI out. You want to record talking head videos like this? Great. You don't have to worry about doing the same stuff. Let's not get it twisted. I'm using my USB microphone, pumping it directly into my camera, into the microphone jack. So you could do this same thing on the Sony ZV-1. I did a video showing how I actually did that and some other audio hacks and things like that. And I'll link that up above as I scratch my ear. I think it's amazing. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Have you been watching any footage on the Sony ZV-1? And is this a camera that you would consider adding to your arsenal? It could be a camera of one, or it could be a camera that serves, like I have these other Sony cameras, and just kind of join the family. So let me know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.